G'day Jafffa Adventures, Terry King here. Welcome to the channel. Well, the Monte's been on the road for a couple of months now since the restoration, and there are two main things that I need to get sorted on this car. Number one, she runs hot when she's sitting still. Traveling at speed, no problem at all. As soon as you stop, the temperature starts to climb. This is the original radiator, and it's got a core that's about 2 inches thick. This aftermarket radiator that I've got in here has got a core that's only about 1.25 inches thick. And I think that's the source of my issues. It was meant to be a direct replacement, and maybe it might be okay in cold climates, but in Queensland, nada. So I've sourced myself another radiator with the proper core thickness, and all going well, that should bolt straight in. The other issue I've got is that my AC has shit itself. Again, perhaps not such a big issue in a colder climate, but in Queensland, I run that thing almost constantly. I've done a little bit of diagnosing on it, and I have determined that it's a failed compressor. So I've got myself a new compressor, a new receiver dryer, some 134 refrigerant, and all the seals that I need, and I'm gonna get this AC system running as chilly as possible. You wanna sit through a mindless YouTube video? Stick around. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do is take this fan off and the fan shroud off, just to make myself a little bit more room, so when I spill coolant all over the floor, I can see it easily. There's the core size on the radiator in the car, 32 mil and 50 mil for its replacement. All right, now I will pull off the transmission cooling lines. And I've got a rag down there just to catch any blood that might drip out of here. No blood there, that's good. And only a little bit of blood there. And this radiator had a petcock on it, which is awesome. So I just hooked up a hose to her, and she's slowly draining out all over the floor. Okay, I've got updates. New radiator installed. Took her for a spin. Much better, but the car temperature doesn't ramp up so quickly, and when I'm driving and there's air movement, she stays nice and cold, anywhere between 170 and 180 degrees. But as soon as I stop and there's no airflow, that temperature starts to creep up until she blows her top. So I said to myself, what do I do from here? I know if I've got airflow, it runs nice and cool. If there's no airflow, it overheats. I have since replaced the factory fan clutch with this new one, and lo and behold, problem solved. Still runs down the road between 170 and 180. As soon as I pull up in traffic, for example, temperature starts to creep up, 190, 195. Fan clutch kicks in, pulls a shit ton of air through the grill, and drops the temp back down again. So, overheating problem solved. Moving on to my AC. I'm fully prepared to rebuild that entire system. I've got a new AC compressor, I've got refrigerant, I've got receiver dryer, the PAG oil, all the seals that I need. And the reason I was doing it was because I thought this compressor had shit itself. The system is fully charged and fully gassed. I know when a system is low on gas, the low pressure switch will not engage the compressor. However, I've hot wired my compressor, and if I bring my hot wires over to my battery and touch my two terminals, positive, negative, hear that? That's the compressor engaging. So the problem is not this compressor. So I've got to work out why that compressor is not engaging. And that's pushing the limits of my pay grade. I'll dig through my shop manual, go through a couple of flow charts, and hopefully I can suss it out. Okay, our book says measure the voltage at this green wire, which is this one here, 12.03 volts. Okay, we got voltage at our green wire. If battery voltage is present, make the following test. Temporarily ground the brown wire terminal A of the compressor clutch with a fused jumper. If the clutch does not engage and compressor pins are not loose, replace the clutch. Okay, I really don't get this. Here's my green wire, yeah? Pop that there. Put this over on the earth, any earth, and I've got 12 volts. Here's my brown wire on this side. Change this over to continuity. Pop that on an earth, again, any earth. And I've got continuity. So if I jump these two pins, we should have 12 volts across these two, which I do, 12.2 volts. So when this plug is plugged into the compressor, earth one side, 12 volt the other, that clutch is not engaging. Now I've hooked up my two jumper wires. If I bring those over to the battery, one on the positive, one on the negative, that clutch engages. So what the hell's the difference? That plug has got 12 volts and earth going to it. This is 12 volts and earth. That doesn't engage the compressor. This does. What the? All right, I'm just gonna fire this car up, jump that compressor, and see whether the AC unit starts blowing cold air. It should. I've got 70 PSI on the low side, 70 PSI on the high side. Obviously they're equilibrated because the thing isn't running right now, but I'm gonna fire this thing up, see whether I can get some cold air blowing anyway. Definitely got cold air blowing, and that receiver dryer is cool to the touch. I don't know what the normal operating pressures are on the hot side and on the cold side, but I really don't think it's low refrigerant, but I'm guessing. I'm gonna have to look that up. I got a long shot here, but let me disconnect these two wires, hook my plug back up, start the car up, and see whether that has forced anything to start working. And that is a big negative. Okay, I've been racking my brain a little bit, and I decided to go upstream from the compressor. So upstream there's a relay, and there's also a pressure switch on this accumulator. So I've just taken the plug off the pressure switch, and I'm gonna jump that and see whether my compressor fires up. Hello, there she goes. Awesome, cooling right down. I'll pop this out. Well, there we have it, diagnosed, faulty pressure switch. The shitty bit with that is I gotta evacuate the entire system to undo that pressure switch and replace it. God damn. Probably a worthwhile time to replace the accumulator anyway. All right, well that makes me happy, diagnosed anyway. I just jumped onto my friend ChatGPT and queried. I've got 21 PSI on the low side and about 135 PSI on the high side for a R134 retrofitted system. And the Chatster tells me that that's perfectly normal. So as I suspected, the charge of the system is fine. I've just got to replace that faulty pressure switch. And Chat also tells me that there's a Schrader valve on the inside of that. So I should be able to take that pressure switch off without evacuating the entire system and just replacing it. So let me hop onto ePray and see whether I can find one. First of all, excellent, there was a Schrader valve there. All right, it's only a few days after I placed this order, and here we go. If you want to find cheap parts for US cars and you want quick delivery, I rate these guys. That's the little box we're after. There's the factory switch versus this new switch. Apparently the on-off pressure ratings are exactly the same. So let me plug that sucker in and see if we've solved our problem. Okay, I've got a bit of O-ring grease around that O-ring. I didn't have a replacement that was the same size, so that's not ideal, but it is what it is. It still seals. Plug our plug back in. Okay, moment of truth. All right, let me turn the AC on and see what happens. Oh, I heard the RPM drop. I think we got a functioning AC. Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. The receiver dryer's sitting at around 9-10 degrees. How about our air temperature? 15.7, 15.1. She's still coming down. 14.2, 14. Sensational. AC system repaired. And it was a $9 part, and I bought an entire AC repair system. Well, I'll pop that back up on the shelf for some future project. In the meantime, I'm gonna hop in this car and go cruising with that air conditioning blasting on max. Thanks for dropping in, everybody. I know it's been a while since I last posted. Keep the shiny side up. Bye now.